Hello beautiful people, welcome to my channel. My name is Teresa and I am your cruise director on the Magical Mystery Tour. Today I think we're up to day 8 of the ABH palette Lucky Dip. I've got all the remaining ones here, but before we get to that, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell to be alerted to any new uploads, and if you like this video at the end, please give it a big thumbs up. Let's go see who we're playing with today. We have, wow, an oldie, but probably her most memorable. What is it? Modern Renaissance. This is probably her most viral, maybe. I mean, look at it. We've got all these burgundy shades here and then warm shades here. I never reach for this now. It looks really, really dated. Not so much these sorts of colours, but the shimmers. It'll be interesting. Am I going to feel nostalgia for it? Am I going to think that it looks really, really dated? Let's see, shall we? I think what I want to do, I think these burgundies have always really been well played in. I don't think I've really played down here. So let's just see how we go. So I'm going to go in with this. Now this is quite a dark colour to use as my transition, but that's okay. Like, this palette is well and truly expired. That's okay because we'll lay it down and then buff out. You saw that I just went across both lids with the one touch of that brush because we can build up, but it's buffing out quite nicely. It's not too intense. And I wanted something pretty neutral-ish while I think about what I want to do. Nearly all the time, I do not plan what I'm going to do looks-wise. Going into that again, what I'm going to do looks-wise before I am on here with you. Now, these sorts of burgundy colours and these sorts of browns are really all a dime a dozen, aren't they? That's what we dove into most of all in this palette back in the day. But I'm trying to think of it now with where I lean now. Like, we're starting to come into autumn. These are quite intense, but I think we can work with them. And again, this is super neutral. I'm using a really wide, big, fluffy brush. It's just a Morphe one. Not a brush snob here. It's an old Morphe one. Really old. I've had it forever and a day. So that's just neutral, just neutral. So let's go in. I've got a more, it's still quite dense, but it's still quite fluffy, but it's more of a bullet shape. So I'm going to go in with this more orangey terracotta shade, as I think this is more sort of where we're at the moment. And that wasn't a shade I really dove into when I used to play in this palette. Again, just letting it blend itself. Seeing that placement. Now, do I want to do a smoky eye? I don't think I've got much choice with what I'm doing here, but what I mean by that is, do I want to go intense all over my lid? And I don't think I do, because I'm quite liking where this is at. That's blended into that neutral really nice, and just going back over the edge with that neutral. Just to ensure that that is still kept there. Now, bearing in mind, I don't want to get too intense. But, so what I'm going to do is, okay, now I know this leaves more red brown and this is really deep chocolate, but I'm going to tap between those. And Jelly's having a dream. Same on the other side. Just getting that placement where I want it. Okay. And then what we're going to do is, because I don't want to take that up, that intensity up too high, cleaning my brush off. Again, if you haven't seen one of these, you can pick these up on Amazon. It's just a brush cleaning tin. And now that that's cleaned off, using a clean brush to diffuse. And you'll notice for me, like normally I bring a lot of colour up higher, but today I'm keeping it down a little bit lower. Just a little bit. Now, across the eyelid, because I've sort of played around here and here, I'm going to go into this near white across the eyelid. And same on that. This was the palette that everyone wanted when it came out, and the thing is, don't know how well it'd do nowadays. The quality obviously has advanced so far since this. So just going in with that brush, going in with the one that did this more terracotta-y colour just here. Just put a bit more on there and use that across. This to me is nowadays is like, I don't know what to compare it to quality wise, because it's just, it doesn't hold up, to be quite honest. You know, some palettes you go, this is still amazing quality. This one is so old. When did it come out? It's 9 years old. It's 9 years old. That being said, we do have some of her older palettes as well. I don't know, I think maybe it's just that the colour story doesn't excite me anymore. Now, but that being said, there is nothing wrong with this look in being a totally wearable neutral look. Going into this more pearlescent shimmer, which is the cooler tones of them, you can see it's a lot more subtle than the ones that are on the market now, which doesn't mean that it's wrong, because not everyone likes a slap you in the face and see me from outer space shimmer at all. So there is that. Nothing on this brush, just going over to seamlessly join that. Now I have just put a nude liner in. Now for the top of the lids, I am going in with this darkest chocolate brown and bringing that right onto the lash line to essentially create depth at the lash line. I've done this a few times now. Same on the other side. When doing this, this is not so much about creating a liner look, because if I wanted to do that, I'd use a liquid liner or a pencil liner. this is more about creating what looks like volume at the base of our lashes. Now underneath the eye, I'm not going to line it as such. I'm just going to smoke out underneath, and I think I'm going to use, this is sort of a satin, but I'm going to use it. Going to use this under the eye. Just giving it a bit of that. Now with this brush that we cleaned off, we might go into this here, tap it right off, and really smoke out underneath there now. So the thing is, with this palette, you're not going to get nowadays anything super dramatic, right? I mean, you probably could if you wanted to create a super dramatic smoky eye. But I mean, tonality wise, just make sure you neaten up around the edges, so to speak. You're not going to get anything like these are all very similar colours. These are similar, these are similar. So it's sort of monochromatic looks that you're going to get. As you can see here, it's just a soft monochromatic tone on tone on tone. So you will get that. If you want something, gosh, this brush won't stay in here now. If you want something that's dramatically different, obviously you need to pick a palette that's got more diversity in the colour shades. But it's an easy look. Is it something that has blown me away? No, of course it is not. Just going into this pinkish shimmer and just finishing up underneath the eye there. Right, what I'm going to go and do now is finish up the rest of my makeup. As I said, this is just a very, very normal wearable look. I'll be right back. Okay, so back with the final look. It's not an exciting look, is it? But is it a perfectly acceptable, naturalish-ish, soft glam, nudish look? Absolutely. So I think with Modern Renaissance, if you've got this, you probably haven't thrown it out because it is so nostalgic for so many people. But yeah, don't forget you've got that super warm side there that leans more into soft glam territory. And then this is like super dark. A lot of the times we stuck around safe areas. So don't be afraid to step out into the other colours. Don't be afraid to go back and have a look at it. Like I said, I could have done a super, super deep smoky eye. And it's boring, because it is a boring look, let's be honest. It's a nice look. All of the products I'm using on my face are going to be listed below. Funnily enough, I've got a real 50-50 happening. I've got really nostalgic vibes and then more modern vibes. So like my base is Home Beauty, as is my concealer, my mascara. My blush and highlighter are old school Milani. Yeah, look, I think I'm just a bit bored with her palettes at the moment, but it's elegant. I'm pulling my hair up now. It is elegant, isn't it? It's because it's not got all the shimmer. What are your thoughts? Do you still use Modern Renaissance, given that it's a 9-year-old palette? What do you think of this look? And let's be honest, this is a look you can create with nearly every palette that you've got. There are so many palettes that we have out there that have these sort of neutralish colours in there. Could have lent into the burgundies, but that has been done time and time and time and time again with her palettes, with that palette. I wanted something a little, I wasn't wanting to feel so in your face today, and I think I've achieved that with this. But what are we going to get tomorrow? because I've still got some with a lot of colour in it. I have got what is without a doubt going to be my most hated palette in there, and I've got some controversial palettes in there still. Don't forget to tell your mum, tell your sister, tell your friend. Come along, hang out, subscribe, all that jazz. I will see you next time, my loves. Take care. Bye.